Welcome back. Today, I am speaking with a gentleman who I have seen on social media doing his thing for some years actually, and only of recently I learned that this individual has sickle cell. He is an actor, an entertainer, a host. He's just all of the above with all the energy. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alvin. Ba, 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 ba. So, just for the, I think I gave you an all right introduction.
It was beautiful, it was really nice.
Cheers! I'm trying to be
stuff.
like you. But just for the purposes, just let the people them know, introduce yourself, name, and can you also share your sickle cell status,
Yeah,
please?
so obviously, you've done a pretty good job to be fair, I don't know what else to add. But yeah, Mr. Alvin, actor, presenter, host, as you said, entertainer. And yeah, sickle cell advocate, I guess. And I'm SS anemia, so yeah,
SS.
literally SS.
Okay. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
This is so good. I'm hearing you. Are you doing a little bit of brummy action?
Just a little bit, but I feel like it's a bit addictive.
Do you think?
I think so.
I don't even think mine is that bad.
It's not, and I think that's probably why I was like.
Okay. I'm trying not to be too brummy. So, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I was really interested to kind of talk to you because I had seen you without knowing that you had sickle cell.
Okay.
If that makes sense, like seeing you doing things and think, oh, okay. And then I think it was when you guys done the TSS thing with, it was like a sit down conversation.
Yes.
And there was a few of you, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You and you. So I'm like, which always happens.
Why is he there?
Yeah, and I feel like because I'm also in Birmingham, and
yeah, of course.
There's a lot that happens in London. Maybe not so much that happens in Birmingham, but sometimes you just don't know who's what and what's what.
100%, yeah, exactly.
So I was really interested to kind of dive in to see, let me find out more about your journey with sickle cell and stuff like that. So, take me back. Baby, can I just call you Alvin? I'm sure you wasn't born with Mr. Alvin.
No, I wasn't. I felt like I was. I felt like I've been grown since I was young.
Just grown?
No, Alvin is perfectly fine.
Okay, so baby Alvin, did your parents know that you could potentially have sickle cell? Yeah.
I think they found out quite early on. Not before I was born though. Okay. Yeah, from what I believe, what I remember. So yeah, I think they knew early on. Yeah, that's where it kind of started. And obviously, I kind of grew up with sickle cell. Obviously, silly. But I think,
but knowing though, it's the knowing and
and I think it's weird because I feel like my first kind of recollection of being in pain or having to leave school and go to hospital was like year 1.
Okay.
Like I remember like I wasn't feeling well, my dad came to like pick me up and put me on his shoulders and everything, and it was like a whole big thing in school because I was like, oh, I was leaving early kind of thing. It was either that or I was going to a hospital appointment. Because it was just, but I just remember being picked up from school on some G thing. You know what I'm saying? Like some flex thing, like I'm leaving school, you lot are still here. But I feel like growing up, I would kind of say that I was kind of blessed because even though obviously I had sickle cell, I feel like my parents kind of let me just be a kid. Right. Like, I think the most thing that they'd done was always made sure I had like a big jacket. Like I look at some of my pictures, I had the biggest puffer. Which obviously you can't blame for, like, well, that's one of our triggers for being to have sickle cell, it's cold weather and stuff, so. But other than that, they let me do a lot of things that speaking to a lot of people with sickle cell growing up didn't actually get to do, so like, it's like swimming. Like, I remember I used to go swimming with my cousin, family friend, and we just used to go like every week on like, either my mum or her mum would take us and we'd just literally go swimming, and I was kicking ball. Pretty much like, just being a kid kind of thing, innit? And it always kind of just made me aware, obviously, you know, like make sure you wear a jacket and too cold and stuff. I do feel like in winter, I was indoors a lot more, which is obviously fair. But yeah, as a kid, it was pretty much like, okay.
You was cool. Yeah. I think, do you know what? It's nice to hear that because I feel like mine was a bit, although I was out and doing stuff, I do sometimes feel like there were just things that I wasn't you know when you're not allowed to do things but you don't know why.
Yes,
It's that whole like, well, I haven't been naughty, but like I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So I do like my recollection of childhood was very much like, oh, I could do some things, but not. I tried the swimming, and then it was just like, nah. I know that I used to, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
And then, you know, conversations with my parents shows that it was because of that. So then, so your childhoods were pretty much easy, breezy.
Yeah, pretty much like, and obviously my parents are from a Christian background as well, so it was very much like have faith, like you're well kind of thing. So I think for me, even like times when I would get ill and stuff and it'll be a bit demotivating, I always kind of thought, you know, I'll see this through and stuff and I'll bounce back.
Do you remember your first kind of like serious crisis, or when you, like a crisis that you had when probably you felt like sickle cell is kind of serious? Have you even had?
Yeah, I think I've had a few things. So I think one of the major things that actually first happened was a priapism. I literally had a priapism when I was younger. And I think it kind of scared me because I was like, whoa, like, what is this?
How young were you?
I couldn't even, maybe like, from gauging it, I might have been like maybe 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought this up because I'm Ina. So every time I have a guy on the show, I'm like, can we talk about it?
I think I was fairly young and I was mad confused.
Wow.
I won't go into all of these on priapism, but you can go research it.
Research it. It's
interesting. Like, it's interesting. I think that was kind of the first thing, and I was like, oh, my days, like, okay, cool. Doctor spoke about it. And then I always had crisis like here and there. Like I remember there was a time I was in hospital when I was in secondary school, and I was in there for like maybe a week. And I remember like, because my hospital was in North London, obviously a lot of my friends that was school around there, so I remember bare people used to come
and visit.
Yeah, like I remember there was one time I had.
It was the life.
There was one time I was in hospital. I was in there for a bit, like maybe I must have been in there for like maybe at least like a week or 2 weeks, and. My bedroom bought a play. I think my brother might have bought my PlayStation or my friend bought a PlayStation. Because I had these times like you was allowed to bring your TV in.
Yes.
Like, it was when it was
I remember that.
Literally. And I remember
oh my God.
I had my own side room because I just remember people just came through. It was like I felt like it was vibes. I was
like you had your own place.
Yeah, I got all my people's here.
Welcome to my crib.
You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the times where I guess I was feeling a little better and I was getting better. And people were showing me love, as they do, like obviously your family, friends that always want to kind of check in for you. But yeah, I think I've had my first recollection of it being serious is probably like the priapism, and it's so weird because I feel like, except for like times of being picked up during primary school, I don't actually remember having a crisis.
That's like me.
Which is mad, but I know I must have had them. Like I remember going to hospital.
Yeah.
Like I can see myself like playing a Dreamcast in the Charles Wood. I can see myself in the Charles Wood, but I just can't remember like, oh, now it's coming back to me though. There was one, there was a few times, but in terms of my first major one, that really, I think maybe it would have been like the priapism. I was like, I was like, oh. And then as I got older, I feel like even like uni, where like things like stress started to play a factor and all these other things, I started seeing how it could be on a bigger scale, really. And when you start overthinking and all these things, like how it can affect. So I think, it's been.
Generally, do you feel like it has had a huge impact on you? Like other than kind of like suffering crises and stuff like that, have you had any major like complications that can be associated with sickle cell?
Yes, to a degree. So I think a lot of people don't know that, but obviously with sickle cell there's bare things. Okay, cool. I think first of all, a lot of people don't speak about the mental health aspects of it as well. I think like there's a lot of things around it. Sometimes just feeling like you don't fit in. Small things like when like my eyes would be jaundiced, like I would feel like everyone can see it, like I'll be very self-conscious of it. Obviously as I've grown up I was like, it's whatever.
It is what it is.
I remember, I don't know like if it was part of it, but septic arthritis.
Yeah.
I've had ulcers.
Okay.
Yeah, not a lot of people know that you can get leg ulcers from it.
What are they like? I've never. I know like there's a whole list of complications, and there's probably maybe 2 or 3 things I haven't had. Not that I'm happily going through the list. I'm not, but unfortunately, it's just been the case.
They're not nice, is what I'll say.
How do you know? Like, did you know what it was, or did you just?
Nah, not in the beginning.
No
Nah.
idea.
Like, it's just like, oh, I cut my foot, and then it became this thing, and I was like, wow, this is
No
nuts.
way, man.
Yeah, so that was a really interesting part. What else? Yes, yeah. So septic arthritis, because I don't know, there was a swelling in my knee, apparently, but I think this was a mix. So obviously, naturally, with sickle cell, we have like a weak immune system.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I had like food poisoning. So apparently, food poisoning had got in my body, it lingered. My legs are swollen, and I was in like hospital for a month.
It's crazy.
Literally, they were trying to wash out my knees, which led to obviously an immense amount of water making my knees in the septic arthritis kind of thing.
That's mad. The thing with sickle cell is that it's like you can have something else, which is if someone else healthy had that issue, they'd probably, recover.
Done, yeah.
But it's like because you've got sickle cell, we're already like the immune system's weaker, the body's weaker. Yeah. Any little thing, it's like,
shut down. You're done still.
It's just like,
forget it. Literally shut down. But it's just, I think those are the main things. I can't think of anything else.
Do you feel that? Do you think that there's other areas of your life that sickle cell has been like had more of an impact on? Like, talk to me about like the mental health things. You brought that up. Like, how do you kind of cope with that? Do you speak to anyone? Were you given anyone to speak to, or signposted anywhere?
Do you know, I think I feel like as I got older, I started to realise a lot more about the mental health side of things. Because I realised like there were just these, because you never really know. And I think obviously back in the day, not that mental health was a taboo, but it just weren't a thing. Like, you didn't really think about it. You just thought, I'm feeling this way and kind of thing. But I think as I got older, I realised, I'm constantly thinking about this thing. It's becoming a regular thing kind of thing. So I think with the mental health aspect of it, it's hard because sometimes you don't know who to talk to because it feels like everyone around you doesn't understand. So you're trying to explain certain things and then they're looking at you like, we don't notice it, or they're trying to do the boost thing kind of thing. So I think there wasn't anyone to talk to on that level. They didn't give me no one to talk to. And then even myself, I don't think I even processed it like that at the time to be like, I'm really going through this, I need to meet someone kind of thing. Just one of that thing.
You just go through it.
You kind of just go through it.
Do you have is there anyone else in your family that has sickle cell?
No.
So you're the only one. Friends or?
Obviously, as I got older.
Only as you got older.
Literally started meeting a lot of people. As a child, nah. There was only one other person I knew, and that's because I met, two other people I knew at the time. And that's pretty much because I met them when they tried children's
hospital.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And so it was like, okay, well, I know you guys have got sickle cell, but I was a child, so I don't even know if I remember them.
Do you think that the fact that, I know you said like, it's like, you know how you're feeling, but you don't know how deep it is. Do you think that that's to do like, because I always find it difficult, even just getting people to come and talk to me. Yeah. You guys, males in general, this species, you guys don't want to, it's like you don't really like to talk about it.
And that's not, I think that's the biggest part. Only until recently I started to speak about sickle cell, which is why you said that you might have known me or known me to do stuff for a while, but only recently. And I felt like that. I just felt like, there's not a lot of men I know speaking about sickle cell. So maybe if I can be a voice, or if I can kind of say, I've got it and I'm this lit, people can feel more comfortable to have these conversations.
I love that.
People can have more confidence to have these conversations, you know what I mean? And just talk about it. Maybe we can come up with solutions, like maybe the man can, you know what I'm saying, help one another. I just feel like growing up, I didn't really have no help. Like, it was just, obviously my parents were always there and I got siblings and it was just like, they would always help when I needed it. But then it's just different conversation that you can have with someone who's got sickle cell. You know what I'm saying?
Just understand.
Understand. Relate, it's like, I'm in pain today. They know it. Even when I started meeting people that I knew, we were just bantering about the fact about how how the hospital might be sometimes. But it's like, it helps because we're laughing at these things because we know we've all been through it kind of thing.
And it's good to be able to laugh, like in Jamaica, so you have to take a bad thing, make joke. Just to kind of make light of the situation. Do you get me? So, and for us, we can do that because it's not, none of us are going to be triggered because we've all lived it.
Exactly.
Somebody else, it's like, it's a bit harsh.
So I think, and I think, for years, I think there's definitely a thing in men where it is a bit prideful, where it's like, no one, like I think it's like a thing of, I don't want to pity me. And even now, I don't want no one to pity me, even though I speak about it. But from young, it's like, no one needs to know, like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm a guy. And I think there's also a sense of vulnerability that comes with, one, being in pain, let alone speaking about pain. And I think not a lot of guys are ready to be that vulnerable. Or even I wasn't. Even now, I'm still getting used to it. Like, I still find myself like holding back. One day, obviously, I'd know I'll just be like,
yeah, just
but I think even now, it's like, yeah, just, so from young, it was just very much like, no one needs to know, this is you know what I'm saying, you kind of thing. I feel like I've dealt with it myself, so it's like, cool. And like you said, I guess people would see me and they'll never really think he's got sickle cell, or they wouldn't think anything. So it's like, all right, well, we're getting bad, and like, no one needs to know, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Every time I'd go to hospital, I would just go. Do you know what I'm saying? So no one would really know, kind of thing.
So when you like in for periods of time, like you drop off the grid, like
basically, like, and weirdly enough, I feel like during school, like secondary school now, I think it's so crazy because I feel like I didn't have a lot of crisis. Like, I had 100% attendance.
Yeah,
but I think what would happen is a lot of my crisis would happen during time off.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting. But obviously I'm a lot more excited. I'm out here.
Got freedom.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and there was times where like I might be able to get away with like being a day or two off. Obviously I just call, like, parents would call the school. So I feel like I was never, like, I never gave the people a real reason to be like, there's something wrong with him. Do you know what I'm saying? Played football. Might not have been the best. I was good still. You know what I'm saying? Had little rap
little ones and twos.
Yeah, but it's just like, I was with the people, you know what I'm saying? I didn't really need to tell them anything. And then, yeah, that sense of pity in it. I think I didn't want no one to feel sorry for me. I don't want no one to ever feel sorry for me, regardless. But I think as a young boy and man, there's a certain bravado, a certain kind of stigma that you have to hold up in terms of who you are. So I knew bare women that had sickle cell from younger. Did
you tell, like, if you like you said, you knew a lot of women that had sickle cell, did you tell them, oh, I've got it too, or nah?
Not straight away.
Okay.
I just knew I could just, like, it's either I would know they had it and then we'll talk about it, or it was like, oh, right, okay, cool, yeah. How'd you deal with it? And that was it. Then I started being like, oh yeah, I've got sickle cell too.
Now that you mentioned kind of like that whole vulnerability and stuff like that, now that you have started to share more and be more public with it, the idea of you like not wanting people to pity you or not wanting to show that vulnerability, like everything that you thought that would potentially happen, has it, like, now that you've started to share, do you feel away? Have you ever had any situations where you think like you've shared and then it's been used against you, or any, like, have you had any?
No, you know, I haven't. Not in that sense. I think a lot more people are just very much more. Like, someone yesterday came up to me and was just like, "Oh, like, I'm really proud of you." I'm like, oh, like, why? It's like, oh, like, everything you're doing, and like even the stuff with sickle cell, like, obviously I understand it. And I was like, it felt nice. Like, I was like, oh, like, it's not really for me. It's for like everyone to know, kind of thing. So I think. Yeah, nothing. No, it hasn't really come. Has it been used against me? Yeah, nah. No. Not recently. No.
It's like that kind of feel the fear, but do it anyway. And then once you do it, you're like, I don't even know what
I was scared of. Yeah, exactly.
Nothing. Only, I guess, good to me anyway. I feel like once you get there, it's like good things.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, like people. Yeah, it's weird because now it's this whole. I feel like a lot of my life is already out there, especially like being an actor, presenter and stuff. It's like, alright, cool, my face is kind of out there. So when I put that together now, I was a bit anxious because now it's like, oh, right, he's got this.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you never know what people are saying behind closed doors. Like, oh, see that? I knew that's why he was skinny. Like, I knew that. Like, you don't know, but obviously that's my own mind telling me stuff, innit? Yeah. That's my own mind. Whereas people are just like, they're like, oh, wow, like, this is big. Like, they're respecting the fact we're talking about it. More conversations are being had. I've had men start to talk about it, or like just have a conversation with me at least about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like.
Do you have like a, in my head, because like I think of a lot of stuff. I imagine that it would be really good. Is there like a male support group for sickle cell, like with just guys in there, where you guys just kind of?
No, there's not. You know.
Do you think that would be helpful?
Probably.
This is just me, like.
I think that would be. I think it would be dope.
Because I feel like with
like specifically men, yeah.
Yeah, because with
that
you
would
guys,
make
I just
sense.
feel like sometimes it is hard to, even if I'm like, I am in
Public,
your
oh,
TSS
yes,
group.
yes.
So even in there, like, there's a few odd people that like speak often, and then you just got the ones that are just like
really quiet, yeah.
hello, am I there?
They'll pop in every once,
not saying anything. But I do wonder if that would just be, I don't know, food for thought.
Probably would, yeah, no, definitely. Actually.
Or you guys can share more.
Yeah.
And you ain't going to pity each other because you're always like that big
just
man thing.
yeah.
Everybody's just bigging each other up and stuff like
and
that.
it's always banter with the man them as well. So I think it has to be a thing where it's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea, to be fair.
I think it's a good idea.
It is really good. Well done.
Well done,
6-4.
Go on, me, 3. So, okay, talk to me about you kind of being more open then. Was TSS the sound of Sickle it is, isn't it?
The sound of Sickle,
Talk to me about that and like how, like what motivated you to kind of just be, you know what, F it, I'm just going to let people know that this is what I'm doing.
Cool. So weird enough, like I basically kind of had like a near-death experience.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I've had one too. Well, actually 3, but still.
Yeah, it's one of those. And it was just like, basically I nearly had a cardiac arrest in it. So
was that related to sickle cell or?
On a bigger scale, yeah.
Okay.
Which is weird enough, you know what I'm saying? So because of my sickle cell and because of the other stuff, I was, you know what I'm saying, like my body was kind of slowing down kind of thing. And then I think from there I was just like, wow, like I could have just been going and not really spoken about sickle cell and all these other things. So I think in that moment it was just like, wow, like, and I think the thing is, for me, I always kind of said I wanted to speak about sickle cell. But I always thought I was going to be like super famous, and when I'm picking up my award, I would be able to say it. But I just thought, you know, if I don't start now, I might not ever start. I might not ever get a chance.
Oh my gosh, stick a pin. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think is that what everyone's aiming to do? Because I always feel like, I'm going to come back to the whole, because I know that I asked you a question, but as we said, stick up in, the song come back, right? I feel like there has to be more people like that are up there, have a platform, have all of this, and have sickle cell. Like, you can't tell me that there's over 15,000 people just in the UK alone that have sickle cell, and I only know me, you, and everyone that's in the TSS group, and that's about it. Like, where is everyone at? But you just said something where you kind of just thought that you're just gonna make it big, and then when you've already made it and you're accepting your award, you're gonna be like, shout out to the sickle cell community. Oh, that's when you want to think about it.
Basically.
Really?
I'm not even on that, but I'm just to basically say like, you know, like I've done it. And
Despite
I had this kind of thing, you know what I'm saying?
That means that then, do you feel like, even though so far with sharing what you've shared, you haven't experienced any kind of, well, that you know of, you haven't experienced any like less exposure or anything like that because you've been sharing, but do you think that if you did, you might be given less opportunities, or there might be less things available to you, almost like you couldn't get to that point?
Yeah, I used to think that.
While still being loud.
Yeah, I used to think that. If I was loud about what, as in being loud about sickle cell?
Loud about sickle cell, yeah.
Because I just feel like with disabilities in general, there's always a stigma. So I'm saying, like, there's always that one less opportunity that, oh, let's think about his illness. He might not be able to do that, so let's call someone else, kind of thing. There's always that kind of. So I just thought, if I don't tell no one, no one needs to know. If then once I've got the job or the situation or whatever,
you'll be like,
I'm like, oh, by the way, I've got this thing. So if I am ill, you know, why kind of thing. But I did kind of feel like, you know, like, let me just do it, write it out. No one kind of needs to know. And I always kind of had that mentality that it's like, no, one day, still one day, like, I think the world is so big. So as much as I'm talking about it now, I feel like I'm just sowing the seeds. But even that one day when I am collecting an award, I'll still be able to say it, and I'll still be able to pick up, you know what I'm saying, the fact that let people know that regardless of your situation, you can still be out there.
Okay, so unstick the pin now. So you had the near-death experience and you thought, right, that was my plan, but you almost lost your life and you didn't even make it there.
Even though I say that, even after the near-death, I still didn't speak about it for like another 4 years. But I just had it in my head.
It's a process though,
I just had it, I was just like, alright, cool, eventually. I think I from there, I just started being a bit more open about it. It's a little bit, and I knew, so during this time as well, I knew my friend Chris, who I knew had sickle cell, and he was a guy. And when we first ever spoke or met, we both had this whole like thing of like, oh, this is what we wanted to do.
Okay.
Do you get it? And I had also met Alicia, who's part of TSS, and I met Talani separately. And every time I had a conversation with each of them, it was something we all kind of wanted to do and say, kind of thing. And we were kind of bored of like, in the nicest way possible, of like the Sickle Cell Society having certain, like, obviously I think they're amazing, but some of the speeches that they were having just weren't hitting the younger generation. It was very much like either for the older people or for the really young, and the really, really young weren't really listening, but they had the activities for them. So us as like, the gang was just like, you know what, like, how don't we kind of set something up in it? So even when we had that conversation, we was going back for a name, we found a name, kind of had it set in stone, and I still told them, look, even though I'm part of this, I'm behind the doors, like, I don't need to, no one needs to really know. And that's how mad it was. Like, so TSS had started at the time. I went in the big group chat. I said, no, don't put me in there. Let's keep R1, the 5. Obviously I met Esther through Chris as well. Esther brought Chris along. So I was like, yeah, no, keep me in a small chat. Don't need to get me, like, I'll help with the events. You
like
know,
you would help do everything.
Do the back stuff, cool. And then then it just got to a point where I was like, well, I think it was nuts, because I think I just told myself that the type of person I want to be, and who's someone who can kind of like have these conversations and allow people to understand and break into these places where it's like they don't really know and now they do. So I remember I was just like, it's just one of my things, and I'll just start talking about it more. Then I remember it was the 90s Baby podcast, I think like 2019, before the pandemic and stuff. I think so, yeah, probably that year. And they already had someone to speak about sickle cell in it, and I think they was like, oh, does anyone else have sickle cell that would speak about it? And I was like, oh. So it was my bedroom. She looked at me, shout out to Tiana. She was like, go, her and Eric. Yeah.
So it's like they knew,
so, yeah,
and the question was asked, and they're like,
so they've looked, and I was like,
anybody else?
So I thought, you know, let me go up, and I ended up speaking about it, and I just felt like, raw, like, this is interesting, like, you know, people want to know, people don't know. So yeah, then after that, I went to a KPMG event with TSS, spoke there, and I was like, all right, cool, like, we could breathe.
Yeah.
I was like, we've done 2.
Let's calm down.
Let's all take a breathe, guys, yeah? We've actually done a lot.
Not too much.
Let's rein it in. And then we did a TSS event, which was Know Your Type. We did that in December, and I hosted that. And a lot of people like came through, like, just because one, I was hosting, 2, they knew I was part of it. So I was like, wow, this is nice. And also gave the chance for people to know their blood type. So that they
was
can
that
obviously
in
donate
conjunction with NHS BT, or did you guys just kind of?
Yeah, no. So we hit up with we hit up the NHS blood
and transplant
people. Yeah. So they were there doing the pricks.
Nasal typing.
Yes. Yeah.
How did that feel? As in knowing that people came out because you were the host.
Yeah.
People came out because you had
part of it. It felt nice. Like I remember like looking at people in the audience and thinking, oh, like you came, like oh, yeah,
bless you, you came for me.
No. And yeah, it just felt like nice. It was just like raw, like people are willing to like hear me out or hear people out and just be informed.
I like that. I really like. I'm really proud of you. Sorry, I'm like,
thanks. Yeah.
No, but really, because like obviously you're sharing that how you felt and then not wanting to what you did, and like it can be a big thing. I can understand
100%.
that.
Yeah.
So no, man, I'm proud of you. Big up you. Hold that, you. Yeah. So okay, talk to me about relationships. Has sickle cell impacted that at all for you?
50-50.
50-50? Yeah. How do you tell someone? Do you tell someone?
So now obviously
they already know.
They kind of know.
You're at it.
No, not like that. Not like that. But I think some people know, some people don't still, because obviously not everyone knows me. So sometimes you got to say it. But in the beginning, I would not tell you. Like, if I was chatting, I would not tell you. I remember one time I met a girl and was talking. And then just because of like just knowing, I saw that she had bit of jaundice in her eyes, innit? So I was like, oh, right, like, have you got sickle cell? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, right, that's nuts still, yeah.
And then
I know about sickle cell. So, oh, yeah. I was like, okay, cool, yeah. So, yeah, I've got it too, man. So, oh, what, really? I was like, yeah, man. So we kind of been reading together. It's not like, and it was just mad, like, in that moment. Cause it was
you just said that?
That, I think, in that one, like, we were speaking for like, maybe like 3-4 weeks. So it was like, and then it was kind of mentioned in it. Maybe 2 weeks actually, I haven't been listening. That was interesting. Okay, but
was
yeah.
she okay
overall,
with that? When you said, there was a reason why I'm asking this question. So you was like, oh, my team, we can't be together in it because you guys
I don't think anyone was ever okay, but I think it's just the understanding it.
Yeah.
And luckily, I don't think we were speaking for that long to be like, oh, there's bare feelings involved. Do you get it? So I think that was alright. But I've had 2 situations where I was chatting to someone, like was talking, seeing where it goes and stuff. Then the feelings kind of start getting involved. Then it's like, oh, by the way, I've got sickle cell. And then they're like, oh, well, like, I've got the trait.
Okay.
And then it's an issue because then it's like, no one said anything earlier. Obviously, I wasn't really trying to say nothing because it's like, why?
Yeah, I get it.
They're not really going to say anything because it's also like, why? But then it's like, you kind of try to see if you can work around it, but then you realise, like, obviously, as you get older, like when you're younger, it's like cool, but then as you're older, it's like, alright, cool, I actually want to have kids and all these other
like
things.
you start to think more seriously about things.
So then it's just like, oh, this, as much as we might want this to work, it's just not going to work.
Do you know what I think is one of it annoys me because there are things that are available to us that we don't know about. I don't know why they don't tell us.
True, yeah.
But I found out from one of my haematologists, but she didn't tell me I wouldn't say that she told me out of the care or concern of my future. It was more out of kind of like, anger sort of way. Anyway, whatever, that's her business. But I found out that if, like, for example, we have full-blown sickle cell and you have a partner who has a sickle cell trait, do you know that we can actually get IVF on the NHS?
Yeah, 2.
I didn't know that.
Twice.
Yeah, if it's your first child.
I found out recently, yeah. I found that.
Sometimes I'm like, babes, remember me?
Hello, remember me?
Hi.
You remember me? Also, have you been with someone that had like?
Someone that had the trait, and then also someone that had. The reason why I was asking about the
sickle cell.
You meeting someone that also had full-blown sickle cell is because I went somewhere, met someone, they told me they had sickle cell, and I was like, oh, me too,
Still went for it.
Yeah, but I'm a very, like, if I meet you and you've got sickle cell, it's like, I want to be fair, like, I want to get to know you, like,
because
obviously we've got something in common now, we can vibe, if I'm not feeling well or you ain't, I'm like, you cool, whatever, it's that kind of thing. I had no idea that person was still kind of pursuing something. Until something it was
deeper.
And I was just like, no.
Okay.
But for them, it was like, I've got sickle cell, but I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Rarely get a crisis, had no complications, no issues. So I just assume that if I have children, they're just going to be like me.
Yeah.
And then for me, it's like, I've gone through way too much to kind of want to bring somebody else to the world to go through the same thing without a choice.
That's mad.
So that's why I was asking if for the two of you, it was kind of a similar, you had a similar outlook on like.
I think ours was, I have a similar, it was just too, it was
early days.
Yeah. And I think it wasn't like I wanted to, I'm not going to say like that, but it's just, I think because it was still early, I didn't know if I was like, wanted to wife them.
You don't know what's going to happen yet or anything.
So I think, and it was weird, I feel like I kind of, even though we didn't have the conversation, I feel like I always kind of knew. You knew. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just didn't bring it up. None of us did, to be fair.
Would you change the way that happened, like because of the experiences you've had? Well, the thing is, I asked that question, but I don't really like, hi, nice to meet you. I've got sickle cell.
I think, I don't know, it's weird. Like, obviously now, depending on how we meet, you might already know. If you don't, it's still not the first thing I say. It's still mentioned, I think. Depends, I think it's always kind of mentioned, it's like one way or another, especially if I feel like I like you.
You're gonna say
I'm gonna say it, you know what I'm saying? Like, one way or another, we would have a conversation that would lead to me talking about it, or even just mentioning it. So then that's when I realised, all right, cool, I think that's when either one of us realizes, all right, it's either. But I swear that I've never actually asked someone if they know they have the trait. More so when I like them.
You haven't?
But I think it's because I'm scared I don't want to know if they tell me they do, because I've been in that situation before, which is mad, innit? Yeah. So I feel like I'm always like,
it's like trying to protect yourself at the same time. But
or protect the situation.
But the longer
it could get worse.
It's gonna be worse.
It could get worse. But it's like, what do you do? Like, because two things can, obviously you can ask them, they'll be like, oh, they don't know, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people don't know. But then now it's like, right, cool. How serious do you want to get that? I'm gonna tell you to go and check.
Go and have a blood test.
Do you get it? Like, and it's just like, but then I feel like at the same time I also see like, or if they're really serious, they're gonna know the situation and they might just check themselves and then be like, this is the situation, this ain't the situation.
Could be just a good judgment of character. If they do that themselves, you're like, she's the one. Do you know
Someone
what I mean?
does that. Yeah.
Then that's
but I don't know, yeah, I think, yeah. And I think that's why we have these conversations, because we want to make it comfortable. I don't know why it's an awkward conversation to have. It shouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it is, isn't it? It's just, hey, yeah, so I've got to listen. But you got to share it, yeah? Yeah. Oh, no, you don't? Oh, okay, what? Do you know what I mean? Do you want to get the trait?
When someone says they got the trait, is it just like, then what?
Yeah, if I really like them and they tell me they got a trait, it's done, innit? But not straight away.
Mm-hmm. You just let it
know,
out.
Yeah. You don't let that, yeah, man, you might still link up and you can still be cool. Yeah, it can be heartbreaking still, because it's just like, you just feel in that moment, even if it's not the person, you just feel like, what's the point? Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Like, overall, like, it's like, man, like, how many other people? Then you might find someone and then like, I used to feel like sickle cell was a burden. So it's like, relationship-wise, I was kind of skeptical of getting into a relationship if I didn't feel like they were caring enough. Because then I just feel like, when I'm in a crisis, like, you might be on your own thing, or do you know what I'm saying?
But then at the same time, it's like what qualities you look for in a person. Because I think I really like, I'll look for like that empathy. Like, are you, without even knowing I have sickle cell, if I book my toe and you're not like, oh my gosh, I'm like, you're not for me then, innit? Because what happens when I'm actually really not well?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's interesting because I think like with men, we do look for like the caring traits and stuff. But it's not the first thing. It's like, sometimes there might be other stuff like just, like, you know, like she got banter, is she funny, like, she make me laugh.
And also the thing is, you never know until you know. Like, you might think that you've met that person, and then there comes a time when you're sick or you're in hospital and they're just not there.
Not there, exactly, literally. And I think that's another thing that played a big part in like me being with someone or not being with someone, or not being someone for a long time, because I just felt like I don't know how they might respond to this. And I guess that's on me, because I guess you never really know until you try, kind of thing. There was one girl I dated like a while ago, and she was amazing. Like, I remember she came to the hospital one time, sat with me, like, and it was like, wow, this is nice, kind of thing. Didn't work out for other reasons and stuff, and I was really young, it was like 20, early 20s, like 19 and that. So yeah, it's just like, it's always kind of interesting.
It's hard. I feel like there's so many things that we have to consider. There's so many. But then there are people that are like in relationships and married and children and stuff. So there's hope.
Exactly, yeah, definitely.
And so are you currently seeing anyone?
What do you like to know? What do y'all like to know, huh?
Yes, they would.
Stay tuned.
Oh my God, really?
Am I not? Who knows?
Okay, all right then. Guys, if you're interested, details are going to be below.
Below, yeah, man. I mean, message me, email Jen. You might be able to find an answer.
I'll do a little hook. We could, I'll like suss them out first. How do you care? Are you caring? Are you nurturing?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Okay, so we're not sharing that. I was asking for a friend. I'm not even gonna lie.
I swear.
Like in real life.
Oh, is it? Because of what I've come on.
Okay. All right then. So, gosh, this has been such a lovely conversation. Like, honestly, it's just been
nice, definitely.
It's just been amazing, and you really are an amazing person.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
What would you like to see change for the future in terms of sickle cell care, treatments?
Yeah.
What? If it could be, give me one thing, or maybe two.
Do you know? I think obviously a lot of people complain about the NHS as a whole, and it's hard.
I complain.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I think it's hard because I think there's always two sides to it, and I think with the NHS, like some people have got amazing experiences, some people have terrible experiences, down to like A&E, down to an individual nurse, down to just how things are dealt with. I think on a whole, I would like to just see like maybe a bigger conversation had just around how support can work, and how we want to be supported naturally. In the future, even something I want to do is kind of like build a centre or place specifically for people with sickle cell. Just so like, and when I say that, I mean, I'm talking like nurses and doctors that only deal with hemoglobin, like with blood and stuff, because I just feel like it's important. I feel like one of the sad things sometimes, you might go to hospital and the nurse only knows sickle cell because of the protocol. Do you know what I'm saying? Not because they know you or they know the person or they know what sickle cell can do. Like they just know, oh, they've got sickle cell. According to the protocol,
I read it.
Codeine, cocodamol, yeah, okay, and
that's
taking that, and that's it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, they don't really know, like, because sometimes I've had some amazing nurses, and it's just because they're an auntie. They're just making sure I'm alright.
That's it. It's
just a conversation,
anyway.
like, to take me up, to take my mind off the pain. And it's like, it's not even too much, it's just enough. It's like, oh, how are you, my child? You alright? Yeah? Oh, what's the matter today? Oh, is the pain okay? No? Alright, let me get you some painkillers. Sometimes they even like, and it's just, I guess it's just nice to know that they care on a more, like on another level to some degree, where it's like, they could be like, alright, how is, like, might have that conversation, like, oh, it's really, really bad? Okay, cool, I'll get you painkillers now. Is it, do you think you can go, alright, maybe we hold off at least 20 minutes.
And see.
And then for me, it's just like, rah, this is like, big up auntie or like, big up the nurse, because it just feels like you've made it more personable to me, than just like the protocol or, no, you have to wait 10 minutes, all that stuff. So I feel like I just want to see maybe just a bit more care in terms of like, we're actually people, as much as we're black people, and we're supposed to be able to withstand pain longer than Caucasian people.
But
then it's like, but I feel like they should still kind of like forget that narrative and just be like, yo, they're still humans at the end of the day. They're in pain. That's why they're here, kind of thing. So I think definitely more just around that. Just more comfortable conversations, like make it easier for everyone to have a conversation around everything, around giving blood, around sickle cell, which could lead to like other things like people just, thalassemia, cancer, and obviously I know there's a lot of conversation around everything else, but it's like, it's like, all right, cool. Oh, he's got sickle cell, okay, cool, is that? Do you get it? Put it, I saw it, it's so nuts because I saw it in a series recently. I can't remember what show I was watching. I can't remember what show I was watching right now. It might have been Trigger Point, no, it might be something else. But there was a show, and one of the guys in the show I think he was casted as someone who had sickle cell.
Oh.
Literally.
And I think like, even having more of that in it, just...
Yeah, like more like actual stories, because like some of people, and they don't even need to be that they've got sickle cell, but it could be a thing where it's like, the person has sickle cell and they're in it and they look like, this is a very fine look to look on camera kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? So just, I guess more awareness as usual, and I guess just more thought into how to approach sickle cell as a whole.
Do you think that we like do enough, even like with us kind of having these conversations or sharing enough? Do you think that you use your network enough, like our platforms enough, everyone that we know as a community anyway? Do you think that we do enough for sickle cell specifically?
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say, do I do enough? Maybe not. But I feel like people like yourself, her sickle journey, and like a lot of other people I know out there are really like, I commend a lot of you lot, because I feel like you guys are letting people know every day. Like I'm saying, there's like literally something on the story. As much as you showcase your own lives, you do let people know. And I think there's only so much we can do until people want to know and want to learn more and stuff. I feel like I can always do more. Eventually I will.
We're waiting for you.
Yeah, eventually, timing.
No.
I think more is being like done. Like people, I've seen 2 short films have been made about sickle cell now. You know, there's platforms, people are talking about it. There are still some ignorant people out there. I remember seeing some video, I don't know if you saw it, but
with the
girls, and it was like, nah, I can never, man.
Yeah.
What? No, girls, what? Naturally, but I think overall, it's timing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and just making it like, oh yeah, this is the thing, and you know, this is the people.
This is the people.
Yeah.
Oh, is there anything you want to ask me?
No, man. I think I've asked you. Obviously, we've had a conversation. We literally had a conversation, so I think it's been cool.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah. I mean, how do you deal with it, actually?
How do I what?
Like deal with like everything? Because obviously, okay, you talk about sickle cell a lot. From time to time, and obviously you've got 2 amazing books, award-winning.
I checked me, Holly.
So like, okay, where like the inspiration for the book? Where did that come from? From your life, obviously.
Yeah, I think being a child, like when you was talking about your childhood, and I was saying mine was very much like there was things that I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Or there was things that I didn't do, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
So I almost kind of created the books so that I wanted to create what I didn't have or what I wish I could have had as a kid.
Oh yeah.
So it's like if I had this book and I read it and I knew what sickle cell was, and someone said, "Oh, how come you can't come swimming?" I could say, "Because I've got sickle cell," and like Jen in the book, that kind of thing. So
rather than feel like you couldn't speak.
Yeah, instead of saying my mom said I can't, or my dad said no, like it was one of them ones. So I wanted to create what I wish I had, almost. Yeah.
And how's it been for you since you've like spoken about it, like, or since you've, do you know what I'm saying, or have you always spoken? Have you always spoken about it?
No. So similar sort of thing to me. Like I had a very kind of serious acute chest syndrome.
Yeah. Okay,
which then I was kind of just like 50-50.
About talking about
we don't know, whatever. And then after that happened, I was more, I think that's when I knew that it was serious.
Yeah.
Then I had lost a friend, Nathan, he had sickle cell.
Yeah.
But the last time I seen him, the last conversation we had was very much, I was going away to work, so I knew I wasn't going to, it's like I knew I wasn't going to see him again, that was it.
Okay.
And we had a conversation, he was just like, obviously, you know, like you just got to do everything that you want to do. Like you can't not go. You have to go and just continue to do. Like anything you're gonna do,
just do it.
It's gonna just do it. Like it's gonna be big. You just have to know. You just have to keep going and that kind of thing. So I think losing him, but having that as our last kind of moment, that was kind of always like my driving force, my motivation, and everything like that. So I just thought, life's short, and if it's gonna be short, I want to just do as much as I can before it's over, really.
Definitely. You're doing that.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I just like to chat about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does get a lot though, I'm not gonna lie. I think I speak about it, I have the books. I used to be a youth mentor as well at a charity, so I would mentor all the children that had sickle cell and thalassemia.
That's amazing, man. I would love to do that.
There's opportunities.
If there's any young boys watching this, actually, man, hit me up, man.
Please do, because I think this is important.
That's been on my mind a lot, like the younger boys, like the younger men, them. Cause I don't really have no one, and I just wanted to chill with them, like not even, like, we ain't even got to talk about sickle cell.
You don't
just
have
chill,
to.
like let's go out, let's do something.
That's the main thing. No, like even when I was a mentor, it's interesting that you don't have. We didn't do anything that was related.
Yeah.
But once you build that trust,
you can.
They will come to you and say, "Do you know what? This happened to me. Like and I didn't like it, or my doctor said this, and what do you think of this?"
Yeah.
It's just like it's just giving them just letting them know that you're there.
Yeah, definitely.
Which was really nice. But what started to happen was I had my own things that I was going through because I've had just.
Naturally, it's life.
Yeah, a whole heap of complications.
Yeah.
So I was going through something, and I was at work, and I was trying to do this, and it all just was...
Got too much.
Yeah, I would just be at work crying, like,
oh,
for no reason. So
bless.
It was really bad. So I think mentally sometimes I've learned that I have to take time out a lot sometimes if I'm speaking about it. Even from doing this, because what we do, like as people, especially like as us, like if you tell me something, I'm feeling it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like we absorb in other people's energy as well. So I have to sometimes have time where it's just
definitely just nothing to do with that. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely nothing.
No, I agree.
But yeah, I'm good. I found something that works, and
Yeah.
I just do what I does.
That's the main thing, man. Love that.
I'm so proud of you. Thank you for coming on the show.
I'm proud of you, man. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being great.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
excited for
man.
everything.
I'm happy. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys.